Good evening, I'm Adrian Arsenault. Tonight, he tested positive and like most Canadians was sent home. Days later, he was dead.
Now that he's gone, how can we survive?
How quickly the virus can turn and what you should watch for.
I'm Andrew Chang. Also tonight, Ontario's COVID infections are climbing, so why is testing slowing down?
As you can see, I'm a little frustrated.
A call to ramp up testing or risk losing control of the outbreak.
Called 5555 for a protected code blue.
An inside look at how Canadian hospitals are preparing for a patient surge.
And life after lockdown. What Wuhan looks like after 3 months of quarantine. This is The National.
Canada is closing in on another awful number tonight. Nearly 20,000 people have now tested positive for COVID-19.
And with many more remaining untested, the true case count is likely much higher. And we know that most of the people who get this illness have mild symptoms, and they don't need to go to hospital. Instead, they're advised to go home, self-isolate, and recover there. That's the best case scenario, what happens most often. But as Briar Stewart tells us, there are times where things don't play out that way and things turn fast.
Outside a Richmond home, signs of grief. It was inside where Juanito Valdez isolated himself from his wife and young daughter after testing positive for COVID-19. The 47-year-old died sometime after heading to bed on Saturday.
My husband is such a great guy. He loves his work so much. He's doing double job for the sake of our family. Now that he's gone, how can we survive? You know what I mean?
Valdez was working at this home for people with disabilities where there was an outbreak. He never went to the hospital like thousands of other Canadians who have been recovering at home. Procedures vary across the country. BC health officials say anyone who tests positive is followed up with every day. That's also what happened for Brock Weston in Saskatchewan.
So we got daily phone calls checking in to see how my symptoms were, and then also they talked with both my parents to see how they were doing, just checking in on them.
Weston's symptoms gradually went away, as they do for the vast majority of people, but experts say in some cases a person's health can rapidly worsen.
We have been learning there's a critical period of time, usually in the second week.
If at that time people still have a fever or have shortness of breath, they should seek medical attention or go to the hospital. This doctor believes it's prudent to have a friend or family check in, but points out that the virus can sometimes target the heart.
People are having cardiac abnormalities with the COVID virus actually attacking the heart muscle. Those can be fatal within a couple of minutes.
It's not clear whether Valdez had any underlying health conditions. For now, his wife remains in isolation.
Even me, I'm worried too. I'm a healthcare worker, but no choice. You don't know when can you have this disease, right?
And she knows just how deadly and devastating it can be. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
So we've seen how quickly and sometimes unpredictably this virus can turn. So let's bring in infectious diseases specialist, Dr. Alison McGeer. Dr. McGeer, what is that line when someone who has symptoms at home should say, okay, I've got to get to the hospital now?
So I think there's three things you need to know. The first is that this isn't different from other diseases. So it's the same things that should make you call and ask for help or get to a doctor or a hospital with any other kind of respiratory tract infection. And the things that we most commonly worry about when people have respiratory tract infections are if you are short of breath, if you're feeling dizzy, if you're feeling confused or not thinking clearly. Those are the things that make you the most worried that you should be in touch with somebody. Second thing is most provinces have some kind of telehealth line, so this is a good time if you're worried and aren't sure what to do, pick up the phone and call. And finally, when somebody talks to you about a diagnosis of having COVID, or you see somebody, it's a good thing to say, okay, what am I supposed to be looking for? Tell me what I should be worried about. And if I am worried, what's the process wherever I am for who to call or what to do?
Okay, Dr. McGeer, thanks so much.
Canada reported more than 50 new deaths today from this virus, bringing the total to at least 476. And across the country, new cases were added in every province and one territory. The biggest jumps were where we've come to expect them. Another 691 cases in Quebec, another 550 in Ontario. That province's biggest one-day gain yet. So Ontario has the second highest case count in the country, but its testing numbers lag far behind, at least they do right now. As Vicadopia tells us, today word came down from the Premier himself to kick testing into high gear.
So for me, it was around mid-March.
Even Nick Marceau's doctor suspects he has COVID-19, but he can't get tested.
And it's frustrating too, as particularly as somebody who lives alone when you're confronted with something like this.
Marceau has neither traveled recently nor is he in a high-risk group, and his symptoms aren't severe, so he doesn't qualify for a test in Ontario.
Although I had some lightly impacted breathing capability, it didn't seem to, it wasn't preventing me from performing sort of regular activities at home. So it was judged that, it was a watch and wait situation.
When it comes to the rate of testing for COVID-19 compared to other provinces, Ontario is far behind.
As you can see, I'm a little frustrated.
After struggling to build testing capacity for weeks, Ontario's now getting help from hospitals and private labs, but most of that extra capacity still isn't being used.
3,000 tests, or a little over 3,000 tests, are totally unacceptable. We have the capabilities of 13,000 tests a day, and there's no more excuses why we shouldn't be getting 13,000 a day. That's going to be our goal.
After orders from the Premier, health officials acknowledged the rules in Ontario should be relaxed.
Expand the criteria and, encourage clinicians to test people if they are concerned that the person has symptoms that may be indicative of COVID-19.
Experts point out testing isn't just about identifying patients and their contacts, but understanding the spread of the coronavirus, which hasn't slowed down in Ontario.
We can't fight an enemy we can't see. We can't manage an epidemic if we don't know its dimensions. We don't know where it is.
For Ontario, a renewed promise to find that enemy.
It's all hands on deck right now. And test, and don't stop testing.
Vicadopia, CBC News, Toronto.
Long-term care homes around Ontario continue to struggle, with at least 58 facilities reporting COVID-19 outbreaks. One of the hardest hit, Seven Oaks in Toronto.
As of this morning, at Seven Oaks, there are 45 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and 56 probable cases amongst the total 249 residents.
The death toll has now climbed to 16 at the facility, with 4 other deaths being investigated as potentially linked to the virus. There are also 13 staff members infected at the Seven Oaks home. And Quebec is also dealing with dangerous outbreaks at long-term care homes. One in Laval seems out of control, with growing infections in both residents and staff. And the outside nurses who've been brought in to help, they say it's like being thrown into a disaster zone. Alison Northcott gives us a closer look.
The St. Dorothée long-term care home is one of the hardest hit. COVID-19 has killed 13 people and infected at least 115.
It's hard. It's really hard.
Nurse Sylvie Morin says she's stressed, worried about catching the virus herself or giving it to a resident or colleague.
It's sad because the patients that get it and die, they die so fast. I've never seen it in my profession.
The Quebec government says nearly half of the deaths from COVID-19 have been in long-term care homes. In response, they've started moving healthcare workers from hospitals and clinics into the homes to help.
We know that the most vulnerable to the virus are the elderly. We concentrate our efforts in our residences for seniors.
CBC News spoke with nurses who made that move to the home in Laval. They didn't want to be identified, but said there was little direction, no training, and insufficient protective equipment. One described being in a room with 20 infected residents, with instructions to simply try and keep the patients alive. Another described the situation for patients as inhumane.
We can't give our best. It's too much. We have too much to take care of. It's really a hard situation.
In a statement, the health authority said there is enough protective equipment for staff and now a team in place to make sure prevention measures are followed. Today, the government said it's ramping up its response with widespread testing at its long-term care homes.
And we're going to test everybody. We're going to test the seniors, we're going to test the staff to make sure we know exactly where people have the COVID-19.
The sirens blaring here this afternoon were a show of solidarity from police and firefighters.
We're not giving up. We try to encourage ourselves.
For those inside this home struggling to contain the virus. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Federal programs are really being put to the test as the Prime Minister returned to Parliament Hill today. Justin Trudeau arrived at the West Block to attend his first in-person cabinet meeting in several weeks. He'd been self-isolating since mid-March when his wife tested positive for COVID-19. Sophie Gregoire Trudeau said late last month she had recovered. But Canada's economic recovery remains in the distant future. Today, ministers set out to show they're doing what's required to pump money where it's needed. David Cochrane has the latest on a program in progress meant to keep workers on the job.
It's the biggest relief program in Canadian history, and it's being changed on the fly.
We want to make these emergency measures as effective and inclusive as we can, so we're listening and making adjustments along the way.
The latest adjustments include making it easier for businesses and charities to show their monthly revenue had dropped at least 30% and requiring just a 15% drop for March because shutdowns came mid-month.
For those companies that said this wouldn't quite fit me, we make sure that it fits them.
A better fit and a better deal.
And in order to make it simpler and cost-effective for employers to rehire workers, the government is proposing to refund employer contributions to employment insurance, the Canada Pension Plan, the Quebec Parental Insurance Plan, and the Quebec Pension Plan as well.
Already, Air Canada is buying into the program, using it to rehire 16,500 employees it laid off less than 2 weeks ago.
That was the exact intent of the wage subsidy. It's designed to make sure people have income.
The wage subsidy will also apply to Canada's energy sector, flattened by COVID-19 and a price war between Russia and Saudi Arabia. This still needs parliamentary approval, and the Liberals are still negotiating the final version with the opposition parties. But the promise is to tweak and tweak again to help as many companies as possible.
The absolute objective is to make sure that we have all the tools that we need to prevent that recession from becoming a depression.
The government also wants to guard against fraud. A company that gets a subsidy it didn't need will have to pay it back. But anyone who tries to rip off the program will face stiff financial penalties and up to 5 years in jail. David Cochrane, CBC News, Ottawa.
Monthly payments of $2,000 have started rolling out to workers who've lost their income to the pandemic. In fact, some who signed up for direct deposit have been paid twice. It's not a mistake. The Canada Emergency Response Benefit is retroactive to March 15th, so the first $2,000 covers you until April 11th. If you've also received your second payment, remember it has to last until May the 9th.
Everyone needs to manage his or her budget on the understanding that it's $2,000 per month, regardless of when that $2,000 is actually deposited.
The government has tried to spread out applicants according to month of birth. Tomorrow is for people born in October through December.
So money is flowing for some, but many students don't qualify for that benefit, and their outlook for summer jobs might be pretty bleak. Today, the government did announce a way to shore up their prospects. Here's Cameron McIntosh with how it might help.
Even on a snowy spring day, Alex Squire is thinking of summer. She had a gig lined up, which she hoped would lead to full-time work.
With the uncertainty now, it's pretty much vanished.
A full-time architecture student, soon to graduate, she's looking for anything that will pay the bills.
So I think that's the concern, is that there won't be any jobs for students.
Today, the Prime Minister promised changes to the Canada Summer Jobs Program.
We will now give CSJ employers a subsidy of up to 100% to cover the costs of hiring students.
Trudeau says it will fund 70,000 jobs for students aged 15 to 30 and let employers keep students beyond summer.
It opens up the opportunity for more employers.
Lily Lumsden helps place students with employers. She says this can benefit both essential services now and businesses that reopen later.
The students will be able to have employment, but also those employers will also be able to have some support and being able to extend those placements.
But right now, many students who are in school full-time won't qualify for the Canada Emergency Response Benefit because they didn't work while in school.
I think that this is a piecemeal measure and that it's not going to adequately address the dire financial situation that students and recent graduates are in right now.
That's what makes finding work so urgent for Squire. She worries about ultimately graduating into a stagnant economy.
Even if I make it through sort of like financially in the next couple of months, like what happens after that?
Now, with only 70,000 positions funded, there are up to 2 million students looking for work this summer in Canada. Competition for the jobs that are out there will be stiff. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now, many of you have been telling us how concerned you are about your money. So once again tonight, we'll be devoting part of our program to that very subject. The financial experts will answer your questions in about 15 minutes.
British Columbia is ramping up enforcement of quarantine orders for travelers returning to the province. Anyone entering the province must now have a written plan detailing how they will self-isolate for 14 days.
That plan must be approved by BC officials, and if there is not a self-isolation plan, a quarantine site will be prepared and made available to those individuals until they can get themselves together.
Premier John Horgan says the new requirement is effective immediately, but starting Friday, provincial officials will be in place at Vancouver International Airport and the border crossings just to make sure plans are completed. Officials are really concerned about the number of Canadians arriving home from abroad and on those repatriation flights. Some 30 healthcare workers at Cape Breton Regional Hospital are in isolation tonight after having had contact with a patient who initially tested negative but was later found to be infected with COVID-19.
COVID precautions need to be maintained around that individual, even if an initial test may come back negative.
The province says it is considering ways to bring staff back from isolation earlier than the recommended 14 days.
At this point in time, we just don't have enough data that's going to tell us exactly when we're going to see that peak, but it's important for everybody to understand the more you flatten the curve, the longer we stretch this out, and that's intentional.
Saskatchewan's health authority says it is way too early to tell when the pandemic will peak in the province, but modeling released today shows officials are planning for between 3,000 to 8,000 deaths and approximately 20 to 200 daily intensive care admissions. The province saw 11 new cases today for a total of 271.
People who've recovered from COVID-19 may be key to helping those who are still sick. As Christine Birak explains, there's a Canadian-led study looking at whether their antibodies could be the antidote.
Oh my God! After weeks in isolation, this was the moment Diana Barrett was waiting for.
I finally got a negative for the virus, positive for the antibodies, and I will be going to donate my plasma.
Plasma is the yellow liquid part of your blood that contains antibodies. When a virus gets inside the body, the immune system starts building antibodies to attack the infection. Doctors worldwide are asking if plasma from patients who've recovered from COVID-19 can help heal those who are still infected. It's an old treatment that's been tried during other pandemics dating back to 1918.
The anecdotal data coming from China is promising. The history of the use of this product in some circumstances is promising.
This Chinese study saw positive results, but there were only 5 patients. To get answers, Canadian scientists will be leading the world's largest clinical trial.
Every single university across the country, every hospital site has said, yes, we will do this. And I can tell by the email flurry that everybody is working 24/7 to make this happen.
Starting in about 3 weeks, the trial will include 1,200 COVID-19 patients, mainly in Quebec and Ontario hospitals. 2/3 will be infused with antibody-rich plasma. The rest will get standard care.
I would say probably the most thing we're worried about is recruiting enough donors so that we have enough plasma to go around.
They'll need donations from at least 800 recovered COVID-19 patients to make it all work. American patients like Barrett have already started handing over their plasma for emergency use.
Take as much as you want.
It's just like donating blood, and scientists are hoping Canadians will roll up their sleeves to help figure out if plasma is a worthy treatment or not. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
A major development at ground zero of this pandemic. 11 weeks of lockdown are now over. Wuhan, China begins moving again. Up next, why life, though, is far from back to normal.
We've called 5555 for a protected code blue.
We'll also take you inside the ER for a look at how Canadian hospitals are preparing for a wave of patients.
I'm wondering what's going to be different here in 2 years' time.
And what could life here look like post-pandemic? We look to the past for hints of the future. We're back in 2. Welcome back. COVID-19 has crossed another threshold in this pandemic. Across the globe, there are now more than 1.5 million confirmed infections, nearly a third of them in the United States. As for deaths, U.S. numbers are in the same range as Spain, Italy, and now France. Those hardest hit countries losing more than 10,000 people each. And the country that once carried the burden of the most illnesses and deaths, China, now has the most recovered cases, over 77,000. So there is some hope in those case numbers and in the Chinese city of Wuhan, too. As Sasha Petrusik tells us, the lockdown that's been in effect there since the end of January has finally been lifted.
Exactly 11 weeks after Wuhan was locked down, its roads and rails opened up. Flights also started flowing, as did so many emotions for those now free. Wang Wan-Shu could not leave her house once since January. It was so sudden, she says. I didn't know I'd be stuck for so long. Still, all the passengers in hazmat suits, all the temperature tests show Wuhan won't be back to normal anytime soon. The first city to be ravaged by coronavirus remains a maze of barriers and checkpoints, officials still urging people to keep close to home so infections don't restart. Wuhan is opening now because it's only had 3 cases in the past 3 weeks. Yet fear of the virus fills the place. It's hard to protect yourself from all those infected people here with no symptoms, he says. Sorrow is also pervasive. Too deep to be swept away by a memorial moment of sirens and horns last weekend. Officially, about 2,500 people died in the city, though many believe the real number was much higher. Many blame the government for initially trying to hide the outbreak. The cover-up by Wuhan officials led to my father's death, says Zhang Hai. I need an apology and compensation. Tonight, Chinese state TV showed the spectacle of Wuhan, bathed in lasers and colored lights, and presented as a miracle recovery. In reality, it's a sign of what the rest of the world faces when it too leaves lockdown. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Tokyo.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is spending a 3rd night in intensive care, but officials say his condition is improving.
I can also tell you that he has been sitting up in bed and engaging positively with the clinical team.
Johnson tested positive for COVID-19 about 2 weeks ago and was admitted to hospital Sunday. He has received oxygen but hasn't required a ventilator. In the UK, nearly 61,000 people have tested positive for COVID-19. More than 7,000 have died. Now, pandemic or no pandemic, the U.S. presidential election carries on, but now without Bernie Sanders. He dropped out today, leaving Joe Biden clear to take on Donald Trump. The CBC's Katie Simpson tells us how the coronavirus played a part.
Bernie Sanders is trying to pull off what can only be described as the most Bernie Sanders of moves. Known for being wholly committed to his ideals and unwilling to compromise, he's dropping out of the presidential race, but refusing to pull his name from the ballot.
We must continue working to assemble as many delegates as possible at the Democratic Convention, where we will be able to exert significant influence over the party platform and other functions.
The unusual strategy brings to an end the campaign of the one-time frontrunner. His promises of revolution, free healthcare, and college tuition resonated with young, energetic supporters and celebrity activists alike.
We just want what you have in Canada. Is that asking too much? I mean, if you get sick, you should be able to see a doctor.
But Sanders was unable to grow his base. And when Joe Biden started attracting a diverse coalition of supporters, the independent senator knew he was in for a fight that ended when coronavirus made it unsafe to hold rallies.
If your campaign, like Bernie Sanders, feeds off the oxygen of large, passionate supporters who are there in person, and the coronavirus just snuffed that out.
By not explicitly endorsing Biden, Democrats fear Sanders may trigger a repeat of 2016, when some of his supporters refused to vote for Hillary Clinton. Feeling left behind, they look to another outsider.
Thank you very much. I got a lot of them in the last election that surprised people, but it didn't surprise me. No, those are great people.
As for his legacy, Sanders has changed the conversation in the Democratic Party, pushing it to the progressive left. Some ideas that may have been laughed at 4 years ago now get serious debate. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
Ahead tonight, behind the scenes, as Canada's hospitals prepare for a wave of COVID-19 cases. Doctors here are running drills after realizing, unlike New York, they might actually have time to get ready.
And in just a few moments, we will have our experts joining us here to take your COVID-19 questions, but those about money, like this one. What do I do about my RRSPs melting away? That's coming up. Hey, welcome back. It is that time in the program where we answer your COVID-19 questions, and tonight, they're financial ones. Lots of Canadians now struggling to make ends meet, and they have questions about where and what help is available. So, two personal finance experts joining us. We have Lesley-Ann Scorgie and Carrie Taylor. Hello to the two of you. Thanks for joining us. Carrie, you're going to start us off, and here's the first question going to you. I've been hit with reduced hours, so I'm still technically employed, but not making enough to live. What supports are there for me?
That's a great question, and there's a known gap. Not all Canadians qualify for the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit. They don't qualify for EI, and they don't qualify for the wage subsidy that's coming up. So the government is looking to fill this gap for freelancers, contract employees, and gig economy workers. The other gap is students. So we need to sit tight and see what the government puts together for these groups of people.
All right. Lesley-Ann, this next question is for you. I'm 71 years old and my pension is down 30%. I have no other sources of income. What should I do?
For this particular scenario, the government has rolled out it's a reduction in what you have to remove from your RIF or withdraw from your RIF every year. It's down 25% to buy seniors a little bit more time for their portfolios to recover. On the good news, though, the CPP and old age security benefits are not changing, so that income can be relied upon.
Okay. Carrie, here's another question. If I can't afford rent and my landlord isn't willing to bend, what are my options?
Well, that's a good question. Well, first of all, you can sit tight because the courts are closed and all the provinces have suspended or halted evictions. So you're safe for now. The good thing also is you can ask your landlord to apply for a mortgage deferral. They just need to call up their bank and they can defer their mortgage for up to 6 months. And this will give you some wiggle room when it comes to paying the rent. Now, most landlords are being very flexible because they know we're in the middle of a pandemic. So offering to pay partial rent and to make a budget and see what you can offer goes a long way to keeping the goodwill going. And there are provinces like British Columbia that are offering a subsidy to landlords. It's up to $500. They just need to apply and it goes straight to them. And other provinces may be following suit.
But the mortgage deferral, that's interesting, easing the pressure on them so that they each ease the pressure on you. Lesley-Ann, what do I do about my RRSPs melting away?
So if you're young, you ride this out. But if you're near to retirement, you need to make a shift in your portfolio. What we're looking to always do in our portfolio is make sure we have proper asset allocation and diversity, a slice for what we call fixed income, a slice for cash, and some equities. So again, if you're young, you can ride this out. And the investment community does agree the recovery road is going to be long, possibly 3+ years. So hang in there.
All right. Lesley-Ann, Carrie, good advice as always. Thanks so much for your time. And every night, we take your questions. Tomorrow, we will have our doctors back to answer them. So let us know what you'd like to know. Message us directly on Instagram at CBC The National, or you can send us an email at covid@cbc.ca. Just be sure to put The National in the subject line.
There is no doubt our lives have changed during this pandemic, but will that change stick once this is over?
I do think we're in a similar situation to a major world war.
Next, we look at how major events in the past change our lives for a hint of what could be our future. First, though, here's Andrew.
In the realm of things that we touch that other people have touched, mail and packages are right up there. So, how worried should we be? Well, let's start with how long this coronavirus survives on inanimate objects. It's hours to days, depending on the surface. So, on something like paper or cardboard, early studies say it's less than a day. So, the time it's spent in your mailbox may already have been enough to kill the virus. But what about freshly delivered packages?
The issue is people, not things, okay? You're in more danger of getting close to the delivery person than you are accepting the package from the delivery person, because it's fresh droplets from people that are the problem.
So the most practical advice whenever your mail was delivered was go ahead and open it up, take whatever's inside out, and then wash your hands.
Welcome back. It's no understatement to say COVID-19 has changed the world. This era will likely make a pretty thick chapter in a history book one day. Being right in the middle of it, it's a little hard to say how that chapter will read, but let's try by comparing this crisis with ones of the past and how those major upheavals changed who we are and how we live. As people, as cities, as countries, we can sometimes find ourselves measuring life in the days before and after something serious has changed us. This is one of those moments, and hardly the first.
I don't like the language of war, but I do think we're in a similar situation to a major world war.
Canada's Margaret McMillan, the historian, says this country's experiences with world wars always led to more intrusive government, and that will likely happen now too.
We have to get all the resources of society that we can. We have to get people working together. Government has to intervene in ways that it wouldn't normally do.
The incredible news was rushed to the soldiers in the front line. The war was over.
And temporary measures can sometimes last. Consider the income tax you pay now. It was brought in after the First World War to subsidize the effort and was supposed to be short-lived. It never went away.
The demands of war in Canada and in Britain meant that governments began to have to squeeze resources out of societies, and they found, to their rather pleasant surprise, I think, they could squeeze a lot more out than they ever thought they could. It actually became something that governments came to rely on.
New taxation and regulation may be coming now too, along with changes in our sense of freedom. Think about life after 9/11. Within weeks, scared Western populations accepted restrictions on freedoms in the name of safety, including strict screenings at airports, which are just routine now.
And I think it may well happen with the current epidemic that we might be prepared to have monitoring on our phones, to have our temperatures taken more often, if it's going to defeat the virus.
You know you've changed when a suggestion like that doesn't sound as preposterous as it might have just weeks ago. And what do you make of this scene? A physically distanced meeting in the park. Normal now, right? What may suddenly look strange and unsafe in the era of COVID is how narrow city sidewalks appear. Will they one day be widened because of this?
I'm wondering what's going to be different here in 2 years' time.
We're going to have to start to have a more nuanced discussion about density. What kinds of densities are possibly detrimental in pandemics?
Sarah Jensen-Carr studies how diseases alter our environments. Watch, she says, for a boost in parks after this, much the way Central Park in New York was developed, designed by an architect who once worked for public health.
When he talked about the building of Central Park, he talked about it as a way to bring clean air into the city and a place where people could find refuge.
He did that after a yellow fever pandemic in New York. Fresh air in the city, coveted then, and may again be championed when we get through this. And we will. We'll also one day look at the differences in our lives before and after COVID-19. Next, we'll take you inside a Canadian hospital as they brace for the worst.
Can I get a protected code blue, please?
The practice drills and the preparations right after the break. But first, we asked what keeps you up at night. So here is tonight's Pandemic Diary.
Hi, I'm Brittany Tucker, and I am 33 years old. I'm from Cold Lake, Alberta. I'm a mom of an 11-year-old daughter, and I currently am self-employed. I subcontract myself to my family's company. We offer auto detailing. Our business has been so busy the last few years. We were booked weeks in advance, and then ever since all of this pandemic started, we've slowed down to almost nothing, and for the time being we're being forced to close our doors, and now it's like a ghost town here. In the last few years we've been through so much, and I feel this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. The only thing that brings me hope is that one of these days this will end and we'll all be in the same boat and we can work together to try to get out of this mess that we're in. Yeah, that everybody can make it through this.
CBC Music is now all Canadian. The latest and greatest Canadian hits, classic tracks, exclusive live recordings, and more. CBC Music, all Canadian, weekdays on CBC Music, or stream it on the CBC Listen app.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast Front Burner, the view from Wuhan, China, where the pandemic began and a citywide quarantine has just been lifted after 76 long days. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Hospitals around the world are overwhelmed with coronavirus cases. South of the border in New York, it's been described as a war zone, with patient beds spilling into hallways and critical supplies running low. Now, Canada is still waiting for its peak, but as David Common shows us, emergency rooms are preparing.
In a downtown Toronto emergency department, staff are at the ready.
Michelle has notified the team leader. We've called 5555 for a protected code blue.
Inside Mount Sinai Hospital, they're practicing what's known as a protected code blue.
Does anyone have their gowns?
Yeah.
Dr. Catherine Varner leads the response.
So now across the world, patients are coming into emergency departments in acute respiratory distress. When we're talking about a protected code blue, we're talking about a scenario where a patient is going to need additional supports to help them breathe that include putting a breathing tube down their throat.
He recognizes the patient is at risk for rapid deterioration and calls for help.
Can I get a protected code blue, please?
In running these rehearsals, Canadian health workers have time to practice. Those in hard-hit New York did not, and many workers became infected.
What's happening here at Toronto's Mount Sinai is actually being repeated in hospitals right across the country, big and small, as healthcare workers inside try to get ready for the wave they know is coming.
So what's everyone going to be wearing now?
So we're going to do a 9-5, we're going to do a face shield, we're going to do a gown.
When doing this on a real COVID patient, they use even more protective gear, but with it in short supply, they're using practice gear. In a real scenario, the whole room could be contaminated.
Because when you're putting a tube in their throat, there's the risk of what's called aerosolizing the virus, meaning the virus can very quickly end up all over the room and actually stay in the room for many hours.
When it's over, they carefully strip away the equipment, ready for the next patient.
We've had more time to practice looking after these patients in our emergency departments such that we can be ready for when the patients are actually coming in really sick, really unwell, and needing our care, but we can provide our care in a way that's safe to us.
In Ontario, that wave may now just be days away.
We have everything in here that we need to dock.
The teams inside ramping up for it. David Common, CBC News, Toronto.
And when we come back, a special wedding anniversary in isolation. How a Yellowknife family managed to mark the milestone together. Their moment is next. First, though, in their heyday, one man could hold the respect of Johnny Cash, Dolly Parton, Bob Dylan. This man, John Prine, the singer-songwriter, died last night at the age of 73 after complications due to COVID-19. A legend for legends. Here's some of what made Prine special, right to his last days.
I was sitting in the bathtub, counting my toes when the radiator broke. Water all froze, I got stuck in the ice without my clothes, naked as the eyes of a clown.
I would say John Prine is the second greatest American songwriter ever, possibly the greatest.
That's the way that the world goes round. You up one day, the next you down. It's
I'd say he's probably one of your favorite songwriter, and probably influenced a large number of the songs that you know and love.
I am an old woman, named after my mother.
You know, going back to Angel from Montgomery, that song is damn near perfect. And he's writing from the perspective of a woman. And he did it in an era where people weren't paying attention to that.
It seems to be very easy for him to access this level of profundity that other people have to work really hard to get to. It seems like it just comes out of him like walking down the street.
As the cafe was closing on a warm summer night.
John came and played a performance in my living room, and we invited a whole bunch of fans and fellow musicians. John started singing a song, you know, with this lyric, which something like, "Ain't it funny how an old broken bottle? Ain't it funny how an old broken bottle looks just like a diamond ring?" And I look over at Gordon Lightfoot. Gordon Lightfoot's got this tear coming down his face. Jim Cuddy in the back from Blue Rodeo's got a tear. Menno from Colorado's got a tear. Sam Cash has got a tear. Tara Lightfoot's got a tear. I have a tear. I start looking around, and John Prine was crushing all of us. There's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes. Prine's like a secret to a lot of people, where if you're into John Prine, you're really into John Prine. Thank you.
What a great picture. This is Gavin and Betty Hollis 64 years ago when they got married. And now all those years later, well, it's an anniversary certainly worth celebrating. But with everyone in isolation, their family couldn't go to their party, so instead they celebrated the only way they could these days, through video call, and that is our moment.
The fact that I could see my grandpa take a bite of the bannock that I made him and hear his little moans and groans about how delicious it is, and see his eye open widely as he's looking at all the banana chocolate chip cookies. Like, it was just something that we weren't expecting.
It was amazing to see them and to see my grandpa smiling and just see my grandma. She just looked so good.
My dad, he would just, his one eye would just sparkle, and he just has this sparkly smile. He's turned into a person of maybe fewer words than we, had over the years, because he was quite a chatter as well. But when he speaks, it's just, you can just feel the appreciation, gratitude. They would have just been in their glory that day, in between several naps, of course.
So a little bit about Gavin and Betty. They met as teenagers at a dance in Scotland. They moved to Canada, and then they went to Yellowknife to be closer to their grandkids and their great-grandkids. And according to the people who work at the home where they live, the love they have that the kids talked about there is still magnetic.
Well, and tear-inducing, apparently, too. One of the staff members saying that, who was decorating the cake, that just watching them sitting there holding hands, the whole staff was in tears. That's The National for this April 8th. Have a good night.
Good night.